Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Today we have an update on potential players leaving the Collingwood Football Club and players that Collingwood are interested in making their way to our club. It's time to talk all things black and white. Today we have an update as early as this morning on the Gettable show. Some dub the show Ungettable. Shout out Manny. But Silvagni's name was mentioned, and there is a brief update on where the three clubs stand with this. And the most important line taken out of the show was clubs involved with the Jack Silvagni name believe he is leaning towards the Saints. Let me just turn that. This is largely due to the fact that the Saints are offering, obviously, comes down to money in this case, 5 by 800,000. So 5 years at 800,000 versus what Collingwood and the Doggies are offering at this point for 4 years at 600,000. That's it. Quite simply, it's 200k more a year. I wonder if Saints offer giving Carlton better compensation than what they would get if he was to go to another club in Collingwood or Western Bulldogs has anything to do with it. And if there's any nudge from Carlton saying, hey, Jack, if you take this offer from the Saints, because it initiates the process of getting a band one compensation or whatever it may fall in, does he get some sort of thing on the side, or legal or not? That's something that comes to my mind. I'm not entirely privy to these potential things being given on the side to benefit both sides of the parties, given Jack Silvagni is an unrestricted free agent and could walk for nothing, essentially, if he was to take a lesser deal at Collingwood or at the Doggies. So my question to you guys is, if there was a way Collingwood could up the ante and offer 4 by 700, is that something you'd be willing to, I guess, wrap up and give to Jack Silvagni and say, hey, we can't match 800 at 5 years, just given your injury history, and we've only got 13 games of you having a really good impact as a key defender. This is what we're willing to offer you. Plus, this is where we're at as a club. The Saints are promising you good money, and they're promising you, hey, we're bringing in all these players, Naz has re-signed. So I see that. But Collingwood might say, we're here. We have 80k for you to, or 80,000 fans for you to play in front of every week. And we have sustained success over the course of the last 20, 30 years, barring a few small windows. So I'm not sure what conversation you would lean into to entice Jack Silvagni more. First and foremost, it's probably the money. Can Collingwood offer a little bit more? That probably all ties in with the next topic in this video, and that has to do with the veteran Pies, some of the Pies who would be considering retiring, maybe delisting or going another way, away from what's offered on the table from the Pies already. So we're talking about Jamie Elliott and Brody Myercheck. So as we know, Jamie Elliott has a 2-year offer on the table and Myercheck has a 1-year offer on the table. Now, we're hearing, according to Gettable, that Myercheck has more lucrative offers on the table. We're hearing that Jamie Elliott is being looked at very closely by Gold Coast. We heard Bo McCreary's name in the same breath of Gold Coast a few weeks ago. So they're obviously in the market for a small forward, and Jamie Elliott definitely fits that department if they were so keen that there's that option. So Craig Kelly on Monday on SEN, speaking to Kane Corns, basically suggested that the older players will need to sacrifice, and Craig Kelly also understands and admitted that if there are other deals on the table from other clubs who are offering more money over more years, which extends their career, then they should consider it, and we won't hold them. We won't think of them any less if they decide to go another way. And naturally, guys, we saw it with Perryman. We're seeing it with Jack Silvagni potentially. Unrestricted free agents are always going to be offered more coin to leave where they're from because of the fact that they don't have to give up picks. So then the whole conversation of, all right, well, there's no picks involved. We're talking money, and sometimes these unrestricted free agents get paid overs. People thought Perryman 900K was a little bit was overs, but it's worked out well so far. So there's that to consider for Jamie Elliott and Brody Mychek. And I'm not going to begrudge them if they were to go. I would like to find a way where we can keep Jamie Elliott and also offer Silvagni a little bit more. I'd be willing to risk 4x700 rather than 4x6, and that gets us closer to the 5x8. I think 5x8 is a bit risky, but with limited key defenders in the market, I mean, what's 4x7 or 5x7 if this works a treat? Like, it would be another year of us using players who aren't in the upper echelon of that key forward department. And I mean, if we don't get a Jack Silvagni, we're looking at players like Stephen May, Jake Lever's under contract. I know his name's come up a bit. Lee Kalir's probably going to St Kilda. You got Tyler Brown, who's garnering interest from other clubs. There's you're hearing Ben Miller from Richmond as well. But these players, they all require picks. And speaking of picks, our final topic for this trade roundup or contract roundup, I'm not too sure what we'll call this, but the last person on this list for this video discussion is Zach Merrett. So we're hearing, and I'll pop up the screen here so we can see what I'm referring to. So Jay Clark comes out a couple of days ago and says, I now fully expect, and what I've been told in the last fortnight, that the clubs that have previously come for Zach Merrett will attempt to do so again, and there will be a lot to play out between now and the close of the trade deadline in mid-October. It was reported at roughly this time last year that St Kilda had lobbed the Godfather offer Merrett's way before the notion of a potential move was shut down by all parties. Per the Herald Sun report, the Saints, alongside Hawthorn and Collingwood other clubs, linked to a potential pursuit of the 251-gamer. So I think this report is from last year, if that's what they're referring to, no? Where are we here? 2025. Before we go, let's just get the fine print of this conversation. St Kilda and Hawthorn have all been linked. Yep, okay. So that's pretty much all it says. There's not much context surrounding that. We will all immediately spit out, we don't have enough picks, which is true at this point. There is a pathway to ask for exemption from the AFL for good reason. I don't know if this is for good reason. We have to factor in that there is a world where Bobby Hill moves to WA, so that could bring us some picks coming back to us. That could help us work our way into acquiring a Zach Merrett. Is he, like, beyond the possibility? What about the player himself? Is he a player we want? Is he a player we need? I think he's as outside of an outside midfielder you can get. And I know his quality is unrivaled in that area. But I do feel like a priority should be an inside and out player in our midfield. You've got Nick Dacos, who's inside and out. You've got Ned Long, who's still finding his feet, who may or may not just be a fringe player once it's all said and done. Do we have any other, like, we don't really have any other younger midfielders? Not that Zach Merrett's young. He is 29 or something, isn't he? Zach Merrett is, it'd be 29. Let me just double check. I don't want to be speaking non-facts here. I want to be speaking pure facts. Zach Merrett, I'm pretty sure he's 29. He's 29. He's 30 at the end of this year. Oh, well, in a month's time, 3rd of October. So I don't, look, as much as we might be linked to his name, and that's as far as it goes right now, I don't think it's something I'd be willing to entertain as a fan. I'd like to get your opinion, guys, but we'd certainly be giving up multiple first-round picks. So how do you find those picks? Do you find that through a trade? Do you find that through exemption? Can we access future first-round picks? Like it is messy. We don't have the answer, but my question is, that I ask myself, that I ask you guys, if it was possible, would you consider Zach Merrett? I don't know. He's a great player, but is he someone we need? Is the question I ask when you look at our midfield mix right now. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I'm trying to figure out what type of video this will be called. Maybe it will be a recurring theme for the off-season and beyond, but it starts now in the final series, I guess. We'll try to provide a weekly update if possible. But until then, guys, until next time, I thank you all for sticking around and watching this video. And as always, go Pies.